right, welcome back everybody to another edition of Forgotten Variants. This is the video series where I look at those, variant comics that, you might just not been paying attention to. Just things that are years old that you might have just forgotten about and are just not actively on your eBay search list, or you're not looking for them when you go out hunting at shows and at your LCS. These are just those weird little things that I don't know. I've decided to do more runs lately than doing one-offs, but this being Halloween season, I feel like it's time now to start talking about like these horror type books. So I have a little special supersized edition for you this weekend, and hopefully you enjoy it as we get ready for this fun holiday. I mean, who doesn't love Halloween? That being said, hopefully you like this series as well as all the other content here on the channel. If you do, let me know in the comments, and like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel and continue to do giveaways. And if you want to see what the special edition is all about, just hang on for a few seconds after the break, and I will be back with the books. Okay, so as I mentioned in the opening, we are going to have ourselves a fun little supersized edition here this Saturday of Forgotten Variants. Yeah, I know I'm getting into the habit of doing these, but I'm having fun. Like, there's a lot of runs of variants that are pretty pretty bulky. I mean, we're talking 20 25 copies in the run that just can't do on a normal Tuesday, but on Saturday, why not do something a little bit special? And as I mentioned, with Halloween coming up next weekend, why not look into some of this horror themed stuff just for fun? Let's get into the spirit of the spooky season. So with that in mind, I felt like it's a good time for us to do the Marvel vampire variants. Yes, I know you probably remember these. You've probably seen these in boxes and thought, what is this weird cover? Because these weren't hard. These were not high incentives like some of the other ones we've done on this series and or on Chasing Ghosts. Like, these were only, 1 in 15 incentives, and these were from October of 2010. So Halloween season, well, 11 years ago. 1 in 15 incentives are not hard for LCSs to qualify, so there are plenty of these lingering around out there. So keep that in mind. So plenty of copies to be had, and let's just have fun going through the list. At the same time, I'm still going to show you the pricing information and give you an idea of the estimated print run for the incentives, but I'm not going to give you the full print run, and I'm just giving you some examples of some of the available copies and some of the more recent sales, just to kind of give you a range so you can make decisions for yourself. If you're interested, you like the covers, this is just my way of giving you some kind of baseline of what things are going for these days, whether what's out there and how much people are paying for things, just so you can make your own call on what you want to do, how much you actually like the book. That being said, let's just get right into it, because I believe we have 20 books in this vampire run from 2010. And we're going to start it off with Amazing Spider-Man 646, which you can see it, right? You see the AF-15 homage here by Mike Mayhew. Definitely cool. I like it. I mean, it's reversed angle on that AF-15. I do like when they kind of change the angle on a popular cover and mix it up a little bit. And yeah, and you see the fangs, you see the teeth. So it's a vampire variant. I like the coloring here with the red really popping off with all the grays and the blacks. And this is a pretty cool Mike Mayhew cover. He did a bunch of these, especially near the end when we get into the X books. Mike Mayhew did a ton of these covers. So I'm going to give you the artist as well as we go through it, but you're going to see his name quite a bit on this list. And this ASM book was, not too bad. I mean, 3,875 estimated. Because again, these are 1 in 15s. These were not hard to qualify for. And some of these, more popular series of Marvel, like Amazing Spider-Man, there's going to be more copies than, say, some of the weirder books as we get down the line, like the Shields and the, I don't know. We'll get to it. That being said, if you want to find this Mayhew Spider-Man cover, what's out there right now? Well, this one's a little pricey. People do pay for this one. So they're asking $59 to $119 for this one, for 1 in 15. Yeah. So it's a steep ask. It has little to do with the print run, or the rarity, I guess you would say, with this book, because however you want to look at it, we're still talking about, just a couple of thousand of books at most. So it's really based on the covers. So the covers that kind of pop off a little bit more are the ones you're going to see as we go through this list that have much higher, asking prices and, paid prices. It's just what it is. So the demand is there because people like the covers. And if you want to know what's been selling to see if those prices that they're asking are valid, well, $45 raw, and there was a 9.8 that sold just yesterday for $120. So $120 or 9.8 ain't too bad for this book, I would think, personally, when you consider there's $120 raw ask up right now. But definitely one of the a little bit pricier ones on this list, all 1 in 15s, and definitely one of the cooler covers. As I said, I do like this one. Do like this one quite a bit. Which is going to take us to our next book, which is Avengers Academy number 5. Yeah, pretty cool. Tigra is the vampire here. This looks like something to me. I was asking my wife, I was like, what does this cover remind you of? And I just couldn't quite place it. So if this is an homage to something and you know what it is, please share it with me in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to hear it because I was trying to figure that out. Some of these you will see are definitive homages, and I will show you in cases where they are or mention it when I know it for certain. But there's some that I know are homages to something. I just can't really place it quickly enough to not be spending, days researching to try to figure it out. So please help me out. If you know, shout it out in the comment section. I'll give you all the credit for it. And I'm sure the other people who are watching would appreciate it as well. So share your knowledge as I'm sharing it with you. And we'll just make us all a little bit more aware of what's out there. That being said, what are we looking at with this Avengers Academy book? This is a Jean-Sebastian Rosbach cover. That's just over 2,000 copies estimated, again, based on print run. So you can see here, there's like half the copies of the ASM, but when you look at what's out there for this one, it's definitely much cheaper than the ASM because there's a copy out there for $3 or a copy out there for $37. Definitely a wide range, but something like this you can get for like cover price is kind of that fun little wheelhouse that I like to play. $3 ain't too bad. I just really wish I knew what this cover was doing because it's familiar. Something very familiar about this. Okay, and if we want to see what actually sold for this book, we can see, well, it doesn't sell for all that much either, where we have a copy that was won at auction for $4.13. So definitely one of the cheaper ones we're going to find on this list, even though it is also probably one of the lower printed of those on this list as well. Maybe not in the bottom, but, close enough. Because I believe our next book might actually be the lowest printed one in our batch of books this week, and this is Black Widow, number 7. Definitely a cool looking cover here by, I want to say it's Stephanie Perger. I don't know if I'm saying that right at all, but only about 1,100 copies of this one based on estimated print runs for Black Widow. It has an Alex Maleev vibe to me. Looks a bit like Typhoid Mary, but I dig it. I mean, you get it. She's got the chalice of blood, the little fangs. It's definitely a cool look and pretty cool cover. I mean, I wouldn't mind having this one. And you want to see what's out there? Well, with that rarity, it gets a little bit pricier. $30 to $100 are the asking prices right now for this one. So you can see maybe rarity does play a little bit into it, but I think it's also in part that this is kind of a sexy, Black Widow cover. So I think that also helps it in the marketplace as well. And if you want to see what it's selling for, well, it's not selling for as much as it's being asked for. One sold for $15 back in September, and also in September there was a best offer on $25, which actually was accepted for $21. So $15 to $21 is all it's actually sold for recently. So keep that in mind. Again, that's why I'm trying to show you these prices. So I'm not saying that the current asks they're going to have to sell you for these prices. I just want you to be aware that if you're patient, maybe you can find cheaper copies as well. Which is going to take us to our next book, Captain America 611. This is a pretty cool cover. I'm not sure what's flaring up. Oh, it gets its sunlight maybe hitting Cap there, and he's starting to burn up as he is the vampire here trying to bite Natasha in this cover, which is a Gerard Perel. I don't know if I'm saying the names right. I don't know, especially when there's probably an accent to be used. I just don't have it. So Gerard Perel is 3,200 copies of this one. Definitely pretty cool. I think I might know where I can get a copy of this for $5, actually. I just haven't picked up the vampire books, but if they're there the next time I go to a shop near me, I might have to get some of these. That being said, what's available for this thing? Well, it's $10 to $41. It's not too bad. It's not too pricey, all things considered. Like I said, it's kind of a cool cover. It's pretty dark, all in all, so high grade's probably going to be tough with all that black on the cover. And you want to see what actually sold? Well, I got one for about $10 in September that sold. September 15th, $9.99. Buy it now. So, again, you can see. These are 1 in 15, so they're not going to generally have those immediately high asking prices like a 1 in 50 or even a 1 in 25 might. 1 in 15, a lot of shops have them. They are just going to treat them as a, little bit of extras. They might take care of some of their better customers by just giving them to them, giving them the option of buying this for cover or just selling this for a small premium, generally at the outset. So just keep that in mind as well. Moving on. Deckin, Dark Wolverine #2, this variant. Still pretty cool. Meaning a lot of red on this one. Like I said, these X-related books, Mike Mayhew in on this one. About a little over 2,500 copies on this. I like the cape. You got the nice little vampire collar with the fangs, glowing red eyes. Yeah, it does read classic, vampire. Granted, he's shirtless and showing off his claws, but it's Deckin after all. And if you're shopping for this one, this is going to run you $15 to $25 right now. Looks to be the asks for raw. I'm generally going to give you also just raws, and I'll occasionally throw in a graded one if they are there and or if they are the only other option to give you like another bullet point of pricing. But 15 to 25 on this one is what's out there right now when I did my research. And if you want to see what actually sold on this one, well, $20. One just sold October 2nd. So, all right. It's not too bad. It's a little over ratio, and not to be that should be expected. I mean, it is a nice looking cover, Mayhew, and X related, X title. So definitely can't be too surprised. And you can also see there was a 9/8 sale too that had an asking price of $125, but the actual accepted price was $109. So not too bad. Not too bad for a 9.8, honestly. Moving on, we got Daredevil 511 as our next book. This is a pretty creepy cover. I mean, just hanging upside down in and of itself, and then you add the dripping blood and those crazy-looking Venom-type fangs. This one kind of jumps out too, and this is a jock cover, so this is pretty cool. I think this is the only cover on this list, and a little over 2,800 copies. This is a pretty cool one, this Daredevil. I wouldn't mind having this one too. And if I wanted to go buy one, I could get one right now for $9 or up to $30 are the asking prices. And what's actually selling for this thing? Well, now we're looking at one sold for $4 and one sold for $20, both back in September. So interesting little range there, but still not crazy prices. Definitely something that's still pretty much affordable if you were so inclined to buy one. Next up, Deadpool. Of course, people like Deadpool. Kind of fun. Deadpool going to bite the vampire. These are usually an irreverent cover on a Deadpool cover. It says Deadpool 28, the Daniel Way run, also a Mike Mayhew cover. A little over 2,300 copies on this one. And if you're shopping for one, well, it's going to be a little pricier. $60 for a raw or $235 for a 9/8 right now are the asking prices. Because, well, it is Deadpool after all. And as I said, Mayhew has a bunch on this list, and he has some of the better covers, I would say, on these. So they are going to fetch just a little bit more than maybe the rest might. And if you want to see what's actually sold for this book to kind of get a range, well, $30, one bid, and then there was a $46 asking price where their best offer was accepted for also about $30. So you can see this one's moving for about $30. So keep that in mind with those prices that are out there right now. That this is what it's actually selling for. And the most recent sale was October 17th, so not that long ago, just a few days ago for $30. Which is going to take us to our next book, which is Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four number 584. This pretty cool thing. Ben Grimm in the coffin. And like I said, things like these covers right here, like these could be homages to something, but it's so kind of generic in general, like he's in a coffin, that I can't place it to be certain to say what it's from. It's just vampire, to me. Just reads vampire, so that's what we're going to leave this as. But you can also know, I don't know if you've noticed by now, when you see the top corners of the variant, the blood spatter around the Marvel logo. Here, I'll even zoom in just a little bit on this one, just to give you that sense of what I'm talking about. Right up here, you see the blood splatter is a pretty cool little effect on these variants. So sometimes, especially back in this time range, those 2010s, early 2010s, Marvel was doing a little something special when they were doing these theme type variant incentives for their books. Kind of make them stick together, put them into a set like a run. And this cover here, this Ben Grimm is done by David Yarden. Over 2,700 copies on this one estimated from the print run. And if you're looking for one, these can run you about $7 to about $12. So definitely not expensive for this one. Definitely not too expensive. Both under ratio, well under ratio for this. And if you want to see what's actually selling, well, there haven't been any sales recently for us to show, but with those prices, that's not too surprising. It's just not a lot of people looking for this one, I guess. And when you do put it up against some of the others, maybe it's not the best vampire cover, but I still think it's kind of fun. I mean, I'd pick it up for cheap, but outside of that, who knows? Our next book is going to be Hulk number 26. This is the Red Hulk. It looks like an Ed McGuinness cover, but it is not. And surprisingly, a lot of people call this an Adams cover, but this is just an After Adams. It's an homage to Adams. If you can see it here in the signature, see this is paying homage to Neil Adams, because this looks like pretty interesting little homage to Tomb of Dracula. Number 1. Different take, different angle. It's Red Hulk. They're at a different location and all that, but generally that's what it's looking like. And this is a Salvador Espin cover. Over 2,800 copies on this thing. And like I said, a lot of sellers or people who have it listed out there are listing it as an Espin Adams cover, but I think it's because they're confusing that. A lot of times when an homage cover is done, they do credit the artist that they're doing. They'll give a little after, like after Todd, after Jim, like when they're doing a Jim Lee cover and things like that. So keep an eye out for that. And like I said, some of the listings might be a little confusing. But that being said, this Red Hulk cover is kind of cool, right? I'd look at it. If you want to see what's out there, well, $30 to $70 on this thing. So it's a little pricey, the asks. And if you want to see what it's selling for, it's hitting that range pretty much. I mean, we're talking in the, best offers under just under 30. So definitely a pretty cool cover. And they're going to take us to another Hulk book, The Incredible Hulks, number 614, where we got the Green Hulk facing off against the Red Hulk on this one. Green Hulk with using a telephone pole as a stake, which again, kind of a cool concept. They're having a lot of fun with these vampire covers, just playing around with some of the homages and just some of the things that they're mixing in here, like with the cap, getting lit on fire by the sunlight. This telephone pole stake, because we're talking about Hulks battling each other. So this is another Salvador Espin cover. Again, this has a lot of an Ed McGuinness look to it, to me. A little bit of Ed McGuinness. A little over 2,600 copies on this one, so it's a little less than the last one, but still a decent amount. And if you're shopping for one of these bad boys, it'll run you about $7 to $16. So again, not too expensive. We're still talking pretty much ratio and under. And sale prices on this one, $13 this one sold for. And this one's actually signed, and there's a COA. So it's kind of fun. Auction, $12 or $13. Not too bad, but that was the only sale that I could find the last couple of months on this particular issue. Which is going to take us to our next book, which is a pretty fun homage. And this is Invincible Iron Man number 31. And I'm pretty sure you can see it or not see it, because this is a vampire cover after all. And we all know vampires have no reflection, but I think it's pretty fun. Salvador LaRocca doing the Demon in a Bottle homage with the mirror. I think it's kind of fun, personally. Definitely think it's kind of fun. A little over 3,000 copies of this one as well. So definitely plenty of them out there. And if you want to go shopping and see what's out there for you to buy one, well, $11 to $20. So it's not too expensive if you wanted to go get one. Just saying. Kind of fun. Definitely kind of fun. You see the blood bag, too, on the table with the glass instead of, the alcohol, obviously. And if you want to see sale prices, well, sale prices, we're talking about best offers on $15, which ended up being a $12 accepted offer, and $5.50 at auction. So definitely pretty cheap. Under ratio on both of these sales here, just to give examples. Granted, both of those were from over the summer, a little while ago, but hey, that's what's there. That's what's sold. Now, our next book, Family Portrait Time. New Avengers, number 5. We have Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and little baby Daphne, I think that was her name, all together. All vampires. Nice little vampire portrait, right? It's okay. I mean, I get it, but just kind of bland to me, honestly. Maybe it's just the white. There's just so much white on the cover. They could have mixed it in, made it a little creepier. I don't know. Then again, creepy vampire baby is kind of creepy, but this is also a Stephanie Perger. I don't know. Again, I feel like there's some sort of accent to be put on that name, but Stephanie Perger, almost 5,000 copies on this one. This is one of the heavier printed book, because New Avengers was hot and new at the time, so print runs were high on Bendis's run. And if you want to see what's out there for this one, well, prices are cheap, $3 to $15. So again, plenty of copies, plenty available to be had if you want one. And if you want to see what actually sold, well, a 9.8 sold for almost $100, which is interesting. Pretty impressive sale, but still, about $100 for a 9.8 of one of these. Is the only sale that I've had for this one. And our next book is one I think I've covered on one of these. I don't know if it was one of my pickups or one of these shows I've done before, but I know I've talked about it, and I know I probably covered it on the Secret Avengers variant run. But Secret Avengers 6, I like it. This Amanda Connor cover is a lot of fun. 4,500 copies, so plenty of them out there. I do like Ant-Man trying to bite her, and she's getting ready to flick him off, like, just like, get out of here, like he's a gnat. He's a nuisance. This vampire is a nuisance. But I like it. It's fun. It's a little irreverent, a little humor. Something you would see, again, on a Deadpool type cover. But here it is on Secret Avengers number 6. I kind of like it. And if you wanted to go get one of these, again, even though this is one of the higher print runs, prices are solid, $13 to $20. So a little bit over ratio, right? Right around ratio. So I guess maybe it's not too much. Right? Maybe it's not too many. But I'm not seeing the $3 copies that I'm seeing of some of the other books. And if we're seeing what actually sold, $10 to $15 seems about right. So again, it's ratio and under, so it's still not too bad. Definitely affordable if you like it and you want one. One can be had. They're out there. But, it's up to you. It's up to you. I know I did buy this one. I do have this one somewhere. I just got to dig it out of a box. I was going to try to put it up next to me, but I didn't have the patience to go digging for it. So you guys get a Legion of Monsters instead. It's Halloween. Moving on. Shield. Shield number 4. Yes, as my son even knew, this was the Mona Lisa. Yes, this Mona Lisa homage, which kind of plays into the aspect of what the Shield book was doing at the time. We were talking about Da Vinci and all the original, great thinkers and how they're connected to the current Marvel universe. Definitely an interesting take. I like the castle in the background. Definitely gives it an ominous feel too. And you got the little bite marks in her throat and little glare. Definitely interesting. This is a Mike Mayhew as well. So he had a little fun on this one. A little over 2,100 copies on this one, potentially. And yeah, if you want to go shopping for the Mona Lisa, well, can be yours for $13 to $25. Not too bad. A little pricier on the high end at 25, but not too bad. I mean, ratio, again, still 15. So it could still be had for under ratio if you wanted one. Buy it now. It's right there. Or make an offer. So it's always great to see those best offers because you might even be able to save yourself a couple of bucks if you're so inclined. Recently sold. Well, this thing has sold for $9 with free shipping. So that's pretty close to cover when you put things into that perspective. I mean, it's a few bucks just to ship it. So would they pay $5? I mean, this was a $2.99 cover. So, all right, maybe double cover, but still not too bad of a sale there on October 6th. And that was the only sale that I could pick out of the last 3 months to share. Which is going to take us on to Thor. Thor number 616. Hey, 616, like the Marvel Universe. This is part of the Fraction run. This is a Ryan Stegman cover. Definitely pretty cool. I like the bat wings are on Thor's helmet there to kind of connect him to the more vampirish cover there. 3,400 copies, a little over. This feels like I know this cover from something too, but wasn't 100% sure what it was. So we leave it here. I mean, it's kind of Batman-ish, I guess. It just looks like a little bit like a Batman cover, but I think it's the Batman cover, maybe Batman and Robin, but definitely has a Batman feel to it, but couldn't pick out the exact one. So again, if you guys know what these are homages to or these are referencing, throw them out. Put them in the comments. Let us all know. Share, and let's have fun talking comics. This is out there for your purchasing pleasure, if you like, for $5 or $20. So you can get this as cheap as $5 if you're interested. Again, just cheap books. I mean, not saying it should be worth more, not saying it should be worth less. It is what it is. If you like it and the price is right, go ahead, buy it. If you don't, you think it's just fun to look at, well, then just look at it and move on. No big deal. You don't have to have everything. You can't have everything. As much as you might like to, and much as you might try, we all can't have everything. It's just not, doesn't make sense. One, it's not cost effective, and two, there's not enough copies for everybody. So you make your call on your own. If you want to see people who did make that call and did go and buy one, well, about $10 to $12 is what they're spending. So still under ratio, not too bad on this one. It's kind of right in line there with most. Some of these are really cheap. You can get for like $3. Most of them right around that $10 to $15 range. And then we got a couple of higher sales for some of those Mayhew books. And we do have one that comes up a little bit later that it's going to be a little bit pricey. But before we get there, we are hitting this final Mayhew run of X books. Uncanny 529 will start us off on this final run. I like it. Emma Frost, Cyclops, pretty cool. She's just kind of looking through you, like the eyes on this thing. She's looking through you, and I love the 3-color scheme that he's done on all of his covers. Mayhew with it's basically they're black and white with just red. Like that's it. That's all we're getting. Shades of gray and then tons of red. And makes sense. Vampire covers after all, right? And yeah, so this one, like I said, Mayhew, a little over 4,100 copies on this, so plenty of copies out there. And what's available? Well, if you go shopping, there's not a ton, and it's not cheap. This one's $59 asking right now. Yeah, so definitely not cheap. I think there were some signature series out there too, but I didn't feel like listing those prices. I really try to stay away from the signature series if I can, because that's a completely different animal. So the prices are really dependent on who signed it and grades, and I just don't like mixing them into this batch. I mean, I'm trying to stay away from CGC for the purposes here anyway, but definitely signatures I'm staying away from if possible. If we want to see what actually sold, well, we got a couple. $30 and then $50 best offer accepted. That was $45 accepted. So 30 to 45 bucks. So it's definitely on the pricier run. We're talking 3 times ratio at a high, 2 to 3 times, but basically between these sale prices. So definitely one of the more sought after, I guess. And then we'll take us to Wolverine number 2. Again, a lot of red, black and whites. You can see little hints, I think, of the yellow and blue from his costume, but very subtle if they're even there. It's still basically that grayscale with the popper red from Mayhew, because yes, this is, again, another Mike Mayhew. A little over 4,200 copies on this one. If you want to go and get one, what's out there is 10 to 30 bucks. So you can get as low as 10, you can pay up to 30 with double ratio, because again, these are all 1 in 15s. And if you want to see what's selling, just to kind of compare it, well, 13 to 20 bucks. So, like I said, right in that ratio range is about where a lot of these are. So even though the Mayhews in some of the earlier cases have been higher, and like I said, we still got one more that's pretty pricey. Some of these, like this Wolverine, could be had for, like I said, right in that ratio range, which not too bad. And then we have X-Men number 4. Now, this is the run of X-Men that actually was dealing with vampires. Like, I think this is the one that started where they were dealing with Dracula. So the actual cover here ties in with what was going on in the actual books a little bit. But the cover here, I'm sure, looks familiar because this is an homage to Astonishing X-Men number 6, where you got Colossus and Kitty Pryde. And we just kind of make him a vampire in this case. Also, Mike Mayhew. And you see, he's doing, after John Cassidy, I believe, he's paying homage to the previous artist. And if I'm reading the signature right here, I'll give a little zoom in here to see what I'm talking about. See, a lot of times when it's an homage, the artist pays tribute to the source. Not all the time, but sometimes. I like it when they do, personally. I'm always a big believer in giving credit where credit's due. Nothing wrong with that. What's available on this one? Well, 20 bucks to 50 bucks. So we are getting on that pricier side for this. Definitely pretty cool cover. Going to be tough in high grade with all of that black. And again, it's pretty much grayscale with red. Pretty much grayscale with red. And when you look at those sale prices, well, 12 bucks somebody got one for, which ain't too bad at all. And then 35 was another sale way back in the summer. So that October 1st sale for 12 bucks seems like a deal by comparison. But I like it. I probably would pay 12 bucks for this personally. Just saying. I'm in for a little bit ratio on some of these. Maybe even a little bit more, like our next book, which is probably the most expensive one on our list. X23, number 2. Another Mike Mayhew. Only about 2,300 copies of this one. So it's not super, super heavily printed, but still, that's still plenty of copies. We're not talking Ghost or anything like that. But when you look at these prices, they treat it like it's a Ghost. There are not enough copies to go around. $200 raw or $575 9.8 asks. There was also a raw asking over $800, but I didn't put that in here because I felt like that was more of an outlier. And I felt like this gave a better gauge of what I'm seeing, because these aren't the only listings. When I give you, I'm just giving you some examples. So I'm not giving you all of the listings. I'm generally trying to give you a high and a low, but kind of a high and low in a range that makes sense. There might be outliers that are really, really high or outliers really low because the book's all damaged. Try to keep those out so it doesn't play with the curve here. But what's actually sold for this one? Well, I think only graded copies actually sold for this, and 450 for a 9.8, and then 275 for a 9.6, both back in September. So not that long ago. But those are the only two sales that I could pull out for this one. Definitely a cool cover. I'd love to have this one too, but these prices are a little bit steep for me, so I don't think I could be buying it at these prices. But as you can see, it's probably the best looking cover out of the bunch, and X-23, most popular character, I guess. And you can see everything comes together. Great cover, not too many around. Yeah, great character. What more do you need? And our final book, another Mayhew, X-Men Legacy. I think I used this one as my pick for Gambit and Rogue cover for a recent back nine that buddy Phil Lee does over on comicbookinvest.com. So make sure you're going checking that out. Every week we do different lists there as well. And this one, on X-Men Legacy 241, is our last book and our final Mayhew book. Just over 3,200 copies estimated for this one too. Lots of red with the lightning, but again, with that grayscale, it's pretty cool. I dig this cover. I like it. I wouldn't mind having one. And if I want to go buy one, well, prices are a little steep, $45 to $72. I don't know if I'll feel like buying in just yet at these prices. I'll pay over ratio, but I'm more feeling I'm comfortable paying like 15 to 20. But that's about it. That's about what I feel like I'm willing to pay to add this to my collection. That's just my personal call. You again, do what you want. It's your money. It's not because I plan to resell it, not because I think it's a bad investment. It's just that's all I really would feel like I'd want to pay. Otherwise, I'm just throwing money at a book just to say I have it. And if you want to see what actually sold, well, am I in the right range? Yeah, I think so. Because look, one sold best offer at $15, which the actual accepted offer was $9.40. I'm in for $9.40. Even $23.51, well, hemming and hawing a little bit there because that's getting on the pricier side. And that one also came from Canada. So that's really more of a $40 sale. But that top one, $6 shipping, $9.40 best offer. I'm in way back in July on that one. But yeah, I'd buy that too. But that's my vampire list for today. Hopefully you like that. Hopefully this gets you a little bit in the mood for the spooky season here as Halloween approaches. Halloween's next Sunday after all. And I do have another variant list that we can do that covers more of these. I think I got zombies. I think Marvel's did zombie covers too that we could go through maybe next weekend, or maybe I'll do it for maybe we'll do it for Friday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just having fun. I might do a couple of more Halloween type things over the next week just for fun because why? Now's the time, right? Now's the time to talk about this stuff. So let's just have fun and just get ready for the big day, right? So hopefully you like that and you like the other stuff on the channel. Let me know in the comments. Again, if you know what any of these homages are from, please share with everybody. Share with everybody. This is it's a group effort here, guys. Group effort. Let's all work together and just have fun talking about comics and toys and whatever else you like out there, pop culture and movies and games and sneakers and all the other fun things that we always talk about on the TAC show on Wednesday. But I'm not going to keep you any longer. We've already gone over a half hour on this one for the supersized edition. Again, thank you all for stopping by and checking in. Keep telling your friends. Let's keep growing the channel. Let's keep doing some more fun stuff and just talking comics. And I'll see you guys soon.